this week shed a tear for an anime about a middle school girl just trying to make friends.
Welcome back to the Protagonist seat. I'm Alex, that's Ian, and there's two of us again.
Yes, I will no longer have to banter with myself.
And this episode is not sponsored by Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its, they're pretty good.
They're pretty decent.
Again, not sponsored, but Cheez-Its.
But we're just saying. If a sponsorship happens to come along.
If Cheez-Its sees this and says, hey, maybe, just know, Cheez-Its, they're pretty good.
That's the secret. One person from the Cheez-Its Corporation really loves anime and just happens to stumble across our deep web podcast.
We're going to have a new thing where we just have unofficial sponsors, where it's like, they aren't sponsoring us, but we really like their product.
But we really enjoy their product.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Super.
Use it to clean up after you vomit up Cheez-It.
All right. For real, though, that's a damn good product.
That's a damn good product.
Damn fine product.
What if they both sponsor us?
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
That's two sponsors.
And you know who's not sponsoring us? David Productions, but we really like what they put out. Jojo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh.
That's the studio.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, David Productions.
I was wondering where that was going because I didn't know that. I was like, who is this?
So, Green Day and Oasis, we get that stand battle, and holy shit, this was like the best episode thus far, I think.
This was such a good stand battle because you got, on one end, you got...
I don't even think it was like great of a stand battle as much as it was just a good episode for their characters, how Bruno slowly is realizing he doesn't have much time left.
Yeah, there's a lot. The final ending scene in the car driving away has a lot of heavy shit in it, and it's real good.
Yeah. So they realize immediately Green Day's ability is the lower in elevation you are, it can hit you with this mold that kind of rots you away. Yeah,
so don't go down.
And after, in the previous episode, where Mista shot the boat, which blasted Narancia out of it onto land, he ended up taking some damage from that, naturally, so now he's resting in the turtle.
Yeah. And out pops Bucciarati at the beginning, and they're like, we gotta get super high, so they endeavor to get super high.
And as they run up the stairs, they notice... they're not moving.
Yeah, it's taking a long time. Bucciarati's like, what the hell, Mista? I told you to get to the top of the stairs. And he's like, I'm trying, boss.
And then they realize they're sinking.
It must be another stand.
And the stand is the stand of the Gimp dude.
Yeah, Stucco? No, it's not stucco. That's a building material.
Secco, I think.
Secco.
Yeah, it's chocolate or chocolato.
Yeah, chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate and secco. And they are a weird duo, but they have stands that combo super hard, like way better than Clash and Talking Heads.
Super hard. Like these dudes.
How do Talking Heads even make it that far?
That's a good question. 'Cause I don't know. I honestly don't know. He's got a subterfuge power. That's all I can think of.
It's not that good.
It's not.
But these two, where one guy basically makes the ground sink, so they get pulled into the other guy's stand power. It's perfect combo.
Combo.
Bruno even says, he's like, this is the most dangerous duo we fought thus far.
And it makes sense because Chocolate is established as a super psychopath. And Secco is his, like, it's his Gimp from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. The Gimp's sleeping.
We'll wake him up.
And apparently with Secco's stand, not only can he sink the ground, he can almost swim through it like water.
Yeah, he semi-liquefies the ground so that he can swim through it and people can sink through it, but if you hit it, it's still hard as ground.
I think the suit is his stand, kind of like how White Album, the suit was the stand.
Makes sense.
Because on the ending credits where it shows all the stands on the pillar.
Shows the suit?
Yeah, the suit. Just like White Album.
Yeah, it makes sense because we don't see him ever actually like activate a stand. Because that's what happens when you use a stand power. A stand comes out. But we don't see it. But anyway, our boys are in grave danger. And they basically climb.
Yeah, Mista actually figures out the best way to get them out of there is to use Sex Pistols to shoot a sign so it bends down and they can grab onto it.
Yeah. Unique problem solving.
And bullets don't work on Sekko.
No, I don't know. He like deflects it real good somehow.
I think because he has like control over like ground and stuff, he can just harden himself.
And that makes sense because his stand is his suit. So like, kind of
how you couldn't shoot through White Album too.
Exactly. Stands are real hard.
Instead of ice, it's earth.
Earth. Are we gonna get a fire one or
an air one?
An air one. I almost said water, but that's ice.
Yeah.
But they get up. And they're like, what the fuck, what do we do? And then I think this is when Giorno comes out.
Yeah, and then they realize they gotta basically hotwire a car or find a corpse with the keys close so they can just start and go.
And I believe they do the latter.
Yeah, but they won't be able to escape since Oasis keeps just making the ground sink below them. So Bruno realizes that he can't see above him, he can only hear. So he leads
senses
him
through the ground.
So Bruno has him chase him, and he jumps off the ledge. So when he pops out, he'll just keep going till he pops out the side of like the cliffside because he doesn't know he's about to hit a wall.
And then Bruno unleashes an assault.
And then a Vivadetti moment.
Yeah.
Where he just punches the shit out of him with sticky fingers.
Arrivederci.
And then this scares Sekko because he realizes Bruno fell off the side and went lower in elevation, but the mold didn't grow on him.
Yeah, no mold. What's up with that? Turns out the thing we kind of knew all along is true.
Because he ends up calling Chocolat to confirm that the mold will grow on anything that's alive. And for some reason he calls using Notorious Big as like the example.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, could your mold grow on Notorious Big? And he's like, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know that.
He's like, but it can't grow on rocks or anything like that. He's like, as long as something's alive, it can grow on it. And it didn't grow on Bruno, which, again, confirms what we already knew.
Yeah, but it's nice to have it in writing.
And they all escape in a car together, and as they're driving, Mista decides to sleep for a bit because he's injured, and Giorno notices Bruno is injured too. Half of his, like, hand is gone.
And it's just gone.
Like a chunk of his hand's gone, and there's no blood or anything. And Bruno's almost mechanically just driving the vehicle. He's calling out to him, and he's not responding. But then, after he gets him to respond, he's like, oh, Giorno, I didn't...
He snaps back
really,
into it.
Didn't hear you. He's like, hey, you're not looking so good. And he's like, hey, you know when you kind of healed me back in Venice?
Yeah,
I think I gave pretty much all I had back there.
I'm running out of juice,
Yeah.
Giorno.
I'm kind of just running on borrowed time right now, so I'm going to get you guys as far as I can.
And then I'm going to GG out.
And he's like, don't tell the others.
And
Giorno's like, no way,
yeah.
Golden Experience healed you. And he's like, yeah, but by the time you healed me, I was already done.
You just gave me a little bit of gas to keep going. And then a helicopter shows up.
Yep, and a body ends up crashing or getting thrown from the helicopter through their car windshield, and the car goes into a complete just free spin, and they use sticky fingers to escape the car. And then, after they realize he's going absolutely crazy, Chocolat is just going to start raining the mold down on everybody in Rome.
So it literally is hitting, like, everybody.
And conveniently, stand users have amazing durability because everyone around them is dying instantly, but they're fine.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't really understand. They're just people coming out on their balcony, and they're just
disintegrating.
So I'm not 100% sure, but whatever. They got stand protection.
And Mista tries to shoot at them, but Seko just deflects it and then drops out himself.
And they're like, well, shit, what do we do now? And that's when Bruno comes up with his master plan.
But before that, Giorno's like, wait, mister, shoot it one more time. And he's like, but it's not going to work. I know my bullet's range and everything. It won't hit it. And he's like, no. And then he grabs Mister from around the waist and puts one of his hands on his gun. In the, like, gayest pose to, like, shoot something.
Very gay.
But that's fine. That's just Giorno and Mister. That's just their dynamic.
That's
I really want to freak in you.
It's just part 5.
It's just part 5. And he shoots a couple of bullets, but he uses golden experience on them. And they don't hit the helicopter, they hit the building nearby, but golden experience being golden experience immediately turns the bullets into a tree, which wraps around the helicopter, causing it to not be able to move. Which
is nice, because it was a Giorno moment that didn't rely on unclear bullshit.
Yeah.
It was a power that we know he has and know he can do.
Yeah, that was established. We understood that one.
It was like, that's reasonable.
And they realized they have to split up to fight the 2 different stand users together, and Bruno decides he will stay behind and fight Seko. Which makes sense since the mold can't affect him, so he might as well leave him on the lower level.
Yeah, so he's all Gucci.
And I have a feeling this is going to be the last Bruno fight.
Yes.
Something tells me that this... Because he's going to live long enough to get them to the contact in the Coliseum.
Yeah.
But I look forward to seeing the last Sticky Fingers fight.
Yeah, I like Sticky Fingers. I like it.
And then I want to see Giorno and Mista fuck up Chocolat, because he is a fucking psycho. These 2 guys are the craziest villains we've come across in this entire series.
They are the most cartoonishly evil, like, power dynamic. It's hilarious. And I'm looking forward to watching them getting all fucked up.
Yeah.
So the Shield Hero rose this week.
This was probably the worst episode of the Rising of the Shield Hero this week, mostly because...
It's a recap.
It felt like they padded this one. Like, this shouldn't have been... This probably wasn't as long in the source material.
Yeah, it was basically... It was
shit-talking the episode.
Yeah, the Shield Heroes, or the Cardinal Heroes, talk shit about each other.
And by talking shit, they bring up the past and they just reflect upon things that happened previously that we already knew about.
I did enjoy how Motoyasu the whole time was like pushing everything off of him constantly. Like, it's not my fault. And then he brings up that the other 2 dudes fucked up and he's like, yeah, why can't you guys be less fuck-ups?
But we find out in this episode, as far as new things go, that the Pope has a super weapon.
Because as I mentioned, the main villain of this chapter is organized religion.
Yeah, so the Pope has a super weapon that can transform into basically all the other weapons that the heroes have, but it requires a lot of mana, so that's why all of the followers are there, and we can see every time he uses it, a couple of them collapse.
Yeah, so, and he blocks some hits, because Ren and Itsuki show up.
And he decides that he is going to kill the princesses and the heroes because none of them are worthy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna party wipe everybody.
And after Ren and Itsuki show up, and turns out they weren't dead, they were helped by the queen's shadow assassins.
The shadows.
And
I dare say.
And they tell them that she's basically gonna show up soon.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they basically all decide, Itsuki's like, it's time for the 4 heroes to stand together. And Naofumi's like, no, fuck you guys. Seriously, fuck you guys.
I did like that, because they do like the lineup shot where each one of them is lined up and then there's only 3 of them. And then they look and it's...
he's with his party and they're all in like a group huddle, like sitting on the ground.
He's giving Raftalio a potion and he's like, all right, Melty, you cast your anti-magic shield on all of us, and we're gonna go get them. And then they're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? We did the speech. It's fine, right? We did the hero speech. We got a unity.
And he's like, you know what? No, it's not fine, because you know what? You guys are a bunch of assholes.
which I thought was pretty fair. I thought that was a fair reaction. Like, nah, fuck you guys.
He's like, I'll do it myself, just like I've done everything, because all you guys do is fuck things up. And they're like, well, we know Motoyasu's a fuck up, but, like, we're not. And he's like, oh, really? And then he starts, like, it's like, starts laying down, like, remember this time, and remember this time,
Remember the dragon, and that time you left an entire nation in poverty? You remember? Because I remember. Because I had to fucking fix it.
And then they bring up all that shit for, like, most of the episode.
And then the Pope is like, hey, guys, while you were doing that dumb shit, I charged my super weapon. So prepare to die.
And then Naofumi basically keeps blocking it, and then he builds, like, a coliseum around them that they can't escape from.
Yeah.
And that's where that ends.
Their ultra sanctuary protection magic. Cathedral.
Basically, he makes it so they can't get to his mana source, so they have to basically just fight him inside the cathedral.
Fight him until his mana runs out. Am excited. I want to see that fight, because I hope it'll be cool.
Yeah, it basically ends with Naofumi calling them all assholes, but then thinking back to Vittoria being like, can you at least, like, try? Just please?
I made a promise.
He's like, fine.
But only because I promised Vittoria. And his party's like, yeah.
And then they line up and do the lineup shot.
And then they do the hero lineup. And it's pretty good. I like it. Because each of them has their own color scheme.
Yeah, blue, red, yellow, green.
Green's our boy.
Yeah, green's our boy. And then Ren's okay.
And Ren's okay. Whatever.
Itsuki is... You know what? I think Itsuki's kind of a prick.
He's just...
Because he's still like, no, I did the right thing with that whole revolution thing.
Itsuki's a jackass.
And then Motoyasu's just actually slow.
But we know that. We have established he is dumbest boy.
I almost feel bad for Motoyasu. Like, he's so dumb that it's almost like you pity him.
He doesn't even realize.
Because the second he realizes when things get cleared up, he's fine with Naofumi. He's like, all right, now we got to work together, right? And he's like, no, you're a dick.
You were literally just trying to kill me like 15 minutes ago.
But it's fine now.
No, Motoyasu. No, it's not fine. You can't just kill people and then be like, oh, I get it. I was wrong. So we're fine now, right?
Yeah, no, he's still an idiot.
Yeah, fuck him. Demon Slayer.
And are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? And are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? And are you okay? Won't you tell us? Are you okay, Annie?
Yeah. We finish a fight and we meet Michael Jackson.
Yeah, the bad guy of this series is Michael Jackson.
Like,
smooth criminal Michael Jackson.
He's Michael Jackson, like the part 4 villain of Jojo is David Bowie.
Yeah.
And it's great. But we'll get to him in a second.
So we jump back into the fight with the puddle hopping demon dudes that are eating the girls in that town.
And it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It looks cool.
We've realized Demon Slayer is just your typical shonen, but it just looks really nice.
Because it doesn't really add anything new. Because we've still got our young hero. He's still got to get stronger, do new techniques.
I think the best part of Demon Slayer is Nezuko.
Yeah, Nezuko's great.
Yeah.
Because she's basically like a super-powered pet.
Yeah.
She is almost completely just free will devoid. And you know what? That's fine.
He goes into the puddle to fight them, which...
He goes into the puddle to fight 2.
Yeah, he goes in the puddle to fight 2 while Nezuko protects the humans that are waiting there and fights one of them. And the 2 that he fights... I mean, the second he went in there, I'm like, it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
Of course.
And turns out he's stronger in water because his thing is water-based.
He's got the water techniques.
And he fucks him up right away.
Yeah. Instantly.
Like, they get no damage done to him.
He sees that they do a whole bunch of, like, weird angles, and he's like, all right, now I know that they can do that. Now I can prepare my tornado whirlwind slash that he does, and he shreds the shit out of him.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Nezuko's holding her own, but then she starts to lose. And right as you think she's going to lose, Tanjiro pops up out of the puddle and cuts the guy's arms off.
And he's like, "Get away from my sister. Get away from her. Get away."
And then he's going to interrogate the guy, but I forget the main villain's actual name, but he's like, "Tell me about Michael Jackson."
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty sure it's MJ too.
Holy shit, I think you're right.
I think it is.
He's like, "Tell me about Michael Jackson." And he's like, and he thinks back to getting choked out by Michael Jackson. He's like, "If you tell anyone who I am, I'll kill you."
I thought that was pretty. I think it's interesting to just see this dude lose his shit.
Yeah.
Because it's the cocky demon who's been real cocky the whole time.
And then he freaks out and instead just goes for an attack, but Tanjiro just cuts his head off.
It's real cool.
And then he goes to Tokyo because he finds out that's where his next assignment is.
He gets sent to Tokyo by his crow that he has some slight banter with, because he's like, "What, already? I just finished this job.
You gotta go now.
Yeah, hurry up. You're leaving right now."
And then he goes to Tokyo, and he, as a country bumpkin, is shocked to see modern technology in society.
I also kind of like this part as well.
Yeah, I think this story takes place in like the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah.
Because it looks like they just got like trolleys and stuff.
I keep forgetting to look up the era, because he mentions the era when he fights Large Arm Demon.
Yeah, because the Arm Demon was like, "Hey, what era of the Meiji is this?" And he's like, "Oh, the Meiji era has come to an end."
Yeah, that's over.
Yeah. And he's like, "It's been a whole era!"
No! But he is a bumpkin, and he gets some serious shell shock, and then he goes to buy ramen.
No, he gets udon.
Udon, that's right.
Yeah, he gets a bowl of udon, and while he's eating, he smells a scent. The same scent that was at his house where his family was murdered.
And whilst Nezuko is sleeping, he fucks off and tries to go find it.
He runs ahead, and as he catches up to the guy, he sees it's Michael Jackson.
He's the guy.
And he's about to attack him when all of a sudden he hears, "Daddy, who's that?" And he's holding his daughter. And then his wife shows up, and his mind kind of breaks at this, and he's like, "They're human? He's got a human wife and daughter?"
He's pretending to be a regular human?
Just in Tokyo, living a normal life. And he's like, "I don't know who this guy is, honey. Yeah, he must have mistaken me for someone else." And he does a quick little slash with his nails against some guy walking by, like the back of his neck. And then that dude starts turning into a demon.
Turns that dude into a demon. He gets him.
And that's where the episode ends, and I'm assuming he's just going to use the chaos to escape.
Probably.
Because Tanjiro's obviously going to have to deal with that instead.
The more immediate threat.
Yeah. But, yeah, Michael Jackson's the bad guy. So we're going to see what happens with that.
Yeah, let's see if he moonwalks. I kind of hope he does.
I hope... You know what? I hope they really play into that.
Just lean into it 150%. That'd be great. Oh, that'd be so
He's
good.
Bad. He's bad. You know it. Really, really bad. You know he's bad. He's bad. Come on.
Come on now. Yeah.
You know who's not bad?
Senko-san?
Senko-san is not bad. The show is okay.
Yeah, the show's fine.
It's fine. Senko's not bad. She's a good person.
The
She's
character
a good
herself.
Fox lady.
She's nice. She makes food. She is receptive when Shiro just kind of randomly shows up and is like, "What's up, fuckers?"
Yeah, they play video games in this one.
And Shiro she cheats, man. She cheats.
Turns out she's got a mind-reading ability.
Which is kind of busted when you're playing someone in a fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I thought it was kind of funny because they use different music from actual games in this episode. Like, I think it was the Mario theme I recognized at first.
Yeah, and they got like a Super Smash Brothers game with only 2 characters.
Because, of course, you only play your main. And Shiro shreds the shit out of our boy. She shreds him. Especially when food's at stake.
Yeah. And she keeps accidentally going into the neighbor's house.
Yeah, and that's a bit for a bit.
Yeah. And then Senko goes over to the neighbors, turns out, sometimes to actually help clean up and take care of her as well.
Yeah, because she goes over to apologize that, Shiro just kind of fucking walks into this woman's apartment at random. And she cleans everything up. And turns out neighbor lady is a manga artist.
Which makes sense.
Turns out the reclusive person who is always drawing on a tablet and never sleeps.
I didn't even need them to tell me that. I assumed that was her job.
That is what I thought as well.
You show me someone with a tablet, I'm going to assume that's their job.
No one else in Japan uses tablets unless
Also,
they're a
tablets
manga
with
artist.
a screen are extremely expensive. Those are like at computer price. If you want a tablet with a screen, that's like usually cheapest around $400.
Yeah.
And that's a cheap one.
You're dedicated at that point. You're dedicated to the bit. Commit to the bit.
Although having one that has a tablet on it, has a screen on it, is probably like, because I have a drawing tablet, but it's one without the screen, and you know how weird that is, where you're drawing on something and you have to look up at the computer screen, so what you're doing doesn't match the.
Yeah, there's a delay to it.
No, not even just a delay. It's in a different spot. It's like you're not looking at what. You're not looking at your hands.
Yeah.
You're looking at the screen.
I notice that sometimes if I'm playing a game and I'm like laying down on the couch and I'm facing another way, it messes up my inputs.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
I'm going by screen direction.
But having like a good one with the screen on it's like so expensive that it's like, well, I'm not an actual artist, so I'm not going to buy one of these.
Yeah. Luckily, this is an anime, so she can have one of those and be perfectly fine.
I mean, it looks like she cuts down on other living expenses because Senko's like, yeah, she doesn't have real food.
She doesn't eat regularly. She just kind of stays up constantly. But she helps neighbor-san, and neighbor-san in return is like, hey,
have this maid outfit.
Have a maid outfit. I bought it for reference, but I don't need it anymore, so you can have it.
She's like, why is it in my size?
Because I needed it for reference once, but now I don't need it anymore.
She's like, your husband will definitely love it. And then after Senko's like, okay, I guess I'll take it.
It's lolicon, but it's acceptable. That's a thing she says.
Yeah.
Quoted. Quote me.
And then he comes home, and Senko's in the maid outfit, and he's like, this is nice. I just don't really feel like I can relax.
It's not you. It's not your style. I appreciate the effort, but it's not you, Senko-san. It's not.
And they said something about how he would want it like mixed in with like the Japanese maid style.
Yeah, give it a little bit of Japanese flair.
Yeah. And then the ending bit is just the POV, but it's with Shiro instead.
I don't watch those, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. It's just when it came on, I'm like, oh, it's not Senko this time. And that's all I took note of.
Even though I kind of like the end credits song, I don't watch all of it because I know what comes after.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, instead of Ian being with Senko normally, because remember, it's from Ian's point of view, it's Ian and Shiro.
Stop making me complicit. Don't make me complicit in your lolly garbage. I'm here for the comfy factor. I want to be comfy.
You know what's comfy, except not this week, really, because this was like a sadder episode? Hitori Bochi.
This episode was good. It was very good.
So the first part, it's summer break. Well, it's about to be summer break, and Bochi's nervous because she's only made 2.5 friends.
She made 2.5 friends in a year. That doesn't bode well.
Well, not a whole year, because they start in the spring.
A school year.
A semester.
Whatever.
A term.
I don't know how the Japanese school system works. I barely even know how ours works.
You start in spring, you go till like July, and then you get like a week in July and August off. Then you go back in September, and then you go straight through till like January.
That's weird. That's strange.
Yeah, you get less time off than we do here, which makes sense. Because work culture over there is fucked.
It's Japan. I read somewhere that it is socially acceptable to like sleep on the subway because that just means you've been working hard.
It's socially acceptable to sleep at work.
Yeah, because you're working hard. You got to rest up.
I watched a series called New Game where it's basically these girls who, Yeah, we're going off on a tangent right now, but I don't care. It's my podcast. I can do what I want.
Yeah, that's what people come here for, our weird tangents.
I watched a series called New Game before, where it's like a cute girls doing cute things series, but it's girls who are all adults who work at even though they look like high schoolers, they all work at a video game production place, and most of the time they all sleep at the office.
That's great.
Because it's just like, yeah, we got a deadline to meet, so I'm staying at the office tonight, so they just pull out like a sleeping bag and just sleep under their desk, and that's pretty common.
Yeah,
that's an actual thing over there.
There's one episode where our boy in Senko-san sleeps at work, and then he comes home.
It's considered, especially if you're a salary worker, just, good to do that. If you don't do that, it makes it seem like you don't really care about your job. Obviously, it's not like sleep at work every night, but if you have something that needs to get done,
if you've got a hard deadline.
Yeah, if you got a hard deadline, it's better to sleep at work and get it done rather than go home and come back, because it shows you're more dedicated to it.
Yeah.
Because, again, work culture's fucked over there.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
Yeah, that's why weebs where it's like, I want to go live in Japan. Have fun working there.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, no.
I'll visit. I'll go for like a week.
I'll visit where it's like, hey, I can have fun all I want here, instead of being like, hey, I have to go to work now and I get 2 days off per month.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm good with my my 5-day weeks. Although, man, it's fucked. Work is fucked.
Work is fucked. Yeah, just automate everything. Make it so machines make everything and do all the work, and we can just relax leisurely.
Guys, make us famous so we can just do this and not have to actually work.
Yeah.
We can just watch anime and rant about it to the internet.
Yeah. Back to Bocchi.
Yeah, because we cut out mid-episode. So she's super nervous, like, holy shit, I'm never gonna befriend the whole class. I gotta try hard. So she decides she's gonna be friends with the head of the disciplinary committee.
Who's someone we've seen in the opening, but she's not, like, with the friend group. She's just, like, standing on a rock looking angry.
It kind of makes me think that this is gonna be the adversary character.
Yeah, but she goes through her head this whole scenario where if she doesn't wear her bow tie, she'll make friends with this girl. She'll be like, Hattori-san, you forgot your bow tie. Oh, yeah, I didn't bring it today. She's like, well, I have a spare. And she's like, oh,
we
but
can't have that now, can we?
It's the last day of school. I guess we'll just have to hang out over the summer and you can give it to me then. Where instead she goes in, she's like, yeah, that's how that'll go down. She's like, hey, Hattori-san, did you forget your bow tie? And she's like, yeah, I forgot it. And she's like, that's sloppy. You can't do that. Are you thinking just because it's the last day of classes that you can just slack off?
Yeah, it's so good. And this is petrifying because, of course, it is. That's the opposite.
And she's
of what
all
was expected.
down, and all of her friends go like, "Hey, you know what we should just do? We should do fun stuff over break, so that way, we'll go to like the pool and stuff, and you'll get more used to crowds. And then when you come back for the second term, you can make more friends then."
That's smart. That's good thinking.
Because Aru's my favorite. I think. I don't know why.
Really?
I really like Aru.
I like Aru.
I just like how I like the unfortunate thing. I like whenever like she's doing like a thing like just like Aru beam.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And she's just like she's kind of like
she's
kind of like a spurg.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I spiritually connect with Nako more, and I did even more in this episode.
Yeah, because you can't swim.
Because I also can't swim. They go to the pool.
And they're all excited. Hattori, Bocchi, and I forget the ninja girl's name.
Satoka, I believe.
Satoka. They both wear their school swimsuits, whereas Nako and Aru are the only ones that actually bring swimsuits. I liked...
I think this comes after... Because they go to the park because Bocchi's crying. And another thing that made me spiritually connect with Nako is Nako's just real sweet to Bocchi. She gives her a lollipop and she's like, yeah, you said this was the flavor you really liked.
I like how it's showing they're not just Bocchi's friends, they're friends with each other. Where Nako and Bocchi are talking, you can see on the swing set Aru and Ninja Girl just swinging on the swing shit like, hey, I think I can go faster than you, and it's just like, okay, how about we race after?
Yeah, they're just matching each other in terms of energy. It's pretty good. But they go to the pool.
Yeah, and they're all going in the water.
I also, because I absolutely loved this. Aru notices that Satoka is in her uniform, and she is a little bustier, and she's like,
hey,
Satoka,
don't stand next to me.
Yeah, don't stand next to me. Okay. But they're doing pool stuff, and Nako isn't getting into the pool, and Bocchi's like, Nako, why no pool? Why no pool, Nako? We all pool.
And she's like, listen, don't tell Aru or Satoka, but I can't swim. And she's like, then we should leave right away. And she's like, no. She's like, that's an overreaction.
That's way too heavy for this.
And she's like, but I wanted us all to have fun. She's like, fine, can you, like, teach me how to swim then?
Why don't you teach me how to swim, Bocchi? And I was like, this is the fucking comfiest shit ever.
And then they have her
comfy.
Then they have her try to, like, swim, and she's got, like, her face doing, like, the dead man's float, and she, like, all she does, she doesn't even float, she just sticks her head in the water.
Because Bocchi tells her the same thing that everyone always tells me. Just relax your body, and your body will float. And then she tries to relax, and she just head down in the water.
And then she looks up, and she sees Aru looking all smug, because she's like, what's that? You can't swim? Oh, no. She's like, I've been waiting for a moment like this where it's like, oh, you kept calling me unfortunate, and now you're an unfortunate person.
It's very good.
And instead she just chucks her in the water.
Yeah, because Nako goes scary mode, because turns out Nako is kind of scary sometimes when she wants to be.
Yeah.
And so they continue with the lessons, and Satoka comes over, and she's like, hey, what are you guys doing? And Bocchi tries to cover.
And she's like, it doesn't matter. You don't need to cover anymore. It's too late.
Cover's blown.
And they're all like because she's obviously into it because she thinks they're training.
Yeah, because everything is training.
And then Aru's like, man, she's like, teasing you isn't even fun anymore. And she's like, I kind of want to join. She's like, no one was stopping you.
Guys, you guys need to include me too. No one said you couldn't.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't think she learns how to swim, though, but I think they make slight progress. I don't know.
Not real. She floats.
Yeah.
She learns how to float.
Which is good because, swimming is an important skill.
Not if you never go into the water.
Well, according to scientists, the water is rising, and most of the planet's surface is covered by it, so...
Try and catch me, motherfucker.
We're gonna end up like Waterworld.
Try and catch me.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when Waterworld happens?
Ain't never gonna catch me.
Are you just gonna be on like a piece of scrap metal, just hoping it doesn't sink?
Hey, tons of people do that.
Yeah, but there's still their society is water based. It's like, you ever play Pokemon Sapphire? You know that town where it's all like water?
Yeah, I just won't live in that town.
But it's gonna be like that because it's Waterworld.
Why can't we just live in Mad Max where everything is desert instead?
I don't know. Scientists are saying either the ocean's going to rise or it's going to be a desert.
Maybe it's both.
Coin flip.
Well, maybe we'll get lucky.
You can have your choice.
I get to pick the apocalypse.
Fine. I'm going to live on the water, though, because I'm a good swimmer.
What if that was an isekai? God was just like, hey, I accidentally killed you too early, so, like, you can pick how the world ends if you want. You want aliens?
Is that even an isekai at that point, though? Isekai means another world.
Yeah, that's true. You can pick how your world ends, and I'll send you to another one.
That's a dick move.
Every time. That'd be okay. I see some good comedy potential in that idea.
I hope we have a good isekai next season because we didn't really pick any. We just stuck with Shield Hero.
Yeah, we got our continued isekai.
We need to keep isekai going. It's trash, but so are we.
All right, so I got a checklist. There's a list of shows we gotta pick. We need our comfy show.
Gotta have comfy.
We need our isekai.
Gotta go to another world.
We need something that is gonna be our sleeper hit.
Yeah, we need a Koto, Oto, Tomare, or a Rabi Hachi, or a double-decker Doug and Kirill.
Exactly. We need these.
Last
This is
season
our
didn't have a
list.
sleeper hit, surprisingly. Last season we knew it was like these are the shows that we knew were gonna be big. Like
Yeah.
Promise Neverland, you knew that was gonna be big.
Yeah, that's true. We just gotta find one. We gotta dig one up.
We'll see.
I
We'll see
don't-
how next season looks.
I don't think there was one.
Next season, I'm excited because I know something we're already taking. We're taking Lord Elimaloi case files.
Hells yeah, dog.
Hell fucking yeah! We're gonna have the waiver school Hogwarts.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
want to meet our waiver boy as a
Yeah.
grown man.
Back to Bochi.
Back to Bochi. This episode will end eventually.
Yeah, because we're now in the second part where they go to karaoke,
Karaoke.
and turns out none of them intended on singing besides Aru.
Yeah, Aru wants to sing, but she picks Bochi to go first because,
How unfortunate.
of course,
Drink ba.
it's I love that shit. They go to they find there's a drink bar and
Drink ba.
foreign girl says it in English because she's a foreign girl, and then Bochi
With
loves
a name like Sataka or whatever.
Yeah, like-
or Satoko. I forget it.
Satoka or something like
Satoka.
that, with a very stereotypically Japanese name. She actually speaks English fairly well,
Yeah.
even though it's 2 words. She's like, "Oh, drink a bar," and then Bochi.
Yeah, she at least gets the R kind of right,
Yeah,
which they usually don't.
it's like probably the best I've heard someone do in a long time. But Bochi
Not
loves
as good
it.
as the Italian, though, going on over in JoJo.
Oh,
Arrivederci.
the Italian is so good in JoJo. It's really good. But Bochi joins in, and they just go, "Drink var, drink bar," and they just go back and forth, and it's
Yeah,
great.
Jinkvar.
Drink var. It's so good.
And then while they're in there, Bochi, they give it to Bochi to sing first, but obviously she's too nervous. And then Sataka says that she doesn't know any Japanese songs.
But she knows the backup parts.
Yeah. And Nanako...
Nako keeps the
Nako was
beat.
fine watching.
She keeps
Yeah.
the beat. She's like, "I don't really want to sing, but I'm really good at keeping the beat."
And while they're doing this, they see an Ehogi, or Bochi does, which
Yeah.
immediately tells her that's her friend.
That's Kai-chan.
And she runs out to go talk to her.
And then the soul crushing begins.
Where I felt like this was a little much. It's like, I think she has friends. That's fine. That was the whole purpose.
Yeah. Kai-chan goes super hard into the bit. Because
Yeah.
I didn't... this hit me harder because I didn't expect it. I
Yeah.
did not expect
She
her
runs
to
down the
go this
hallway and
hard.
she's like, Kai-chan, it's me. She's like, I made friends, and they all introduce themselves, and she's with her friends, and she refuses to turn around to see
She
Bochi.
doesn't even speak. And Kai's friends are like,
Hey, are you okay just leaving like that? And she's like, it's fine.
"You gonna, turn around and talk to her?" "No, I don't know who that is." Oh, and she leaves.
And then they both cry separately.
Yes.
And then they both barf.
And then they both barf. And it's like, this is the voice actress for Bochi gets some mad props for giving some of just the most soul crushing, just balls to the wall, all out crying I have ever heard. 'Cause holy shit,
Yeah, it was sad.
she was into it. She's into her role. Give her a raise. Give Bochi's voice actress a raise. She earns it.
Have Bochi start doing better, because as far as I've heard, it's not doing great.
Yeah.
It's not like,
Makes me kind of sad because I like the show.
it's not getting the sales on those Blu-rays. Granted, Blu-rays over there are fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's like $80 for 2 episodes.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not in a good place. But you know what? Maybe they'll get there someday. Maybe Bochi will make more friends.
Speaking of friends.
Yeah, speaking of friends. We got our Koto friends.
Kono Oto Tomare.
We get Kudo, best boy.
if I was a woman, I would fall for Kudo.
Me too.
Kudo is just
And
the best boy.
And not only because he is drawn in he is given the prettiest face out of everybody.
Kudo is best husband material.
He is husbando.
He is husbando material. It picks up where it ended last time, where he went to Hozaki's house to give her the handouts.
And she's mortified because, oh my God, she's in this kind of dumpy apartment.
Yeah, he knows I'm poor.
And he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, and she passes out because she's really sick, and he carries her to her bed and basically looks after her.
Because that's another, like, Japanese thing is like, I got the flu. I passed out.
They have that overwork society, so, when you really get sick, you have no energy to fight back.
Yeah, you just push yourself too hard. But he takes care of her. And he
watches a video of her performance.
But he also opens up her drawer with her bras in it. And he's like, I didn't see anything. There was nothing in that drawer.
And while she's sick, we get the flashbacks of her backstory.
Yeah.
Where she ended up getting trained by her mom, which we knew.
Because her father dies.
Her father was the grand master of the Koto school, and her mom had to take over. And no one believed in her mom, so her mom had to end up being extra hard on her to get her to, like, basically sell their school by being the next prodigy.
And this kind of fucks up their relationship a little bit.
Because at first they show when she's really young, her mom's like, Mom, I made a Kodo-like song. And she's like, oh, man, that's wonderful.
Wow, that's great, honey.
And then later on, she's just like, practice, practice, practice. Don't call me Mom. Call me Miss Hozaki.
Yeah, which is the coldest shit ever. You're not practicing hard enough. Go back and practice more. You don't need to do clubs. Practice.
And then her mom was having her play at this recital, which basically would get her into a really good music high school. And she decided,
I'm not going to play the song they want me to play.
So she throws, but she throws in a way where she plays really well. She plays, instead of the song she's supposed to, she plays her own composition, which makes her lose by default because she was supposed to play a specific song, but she still wows the entire audience and all the judges.
She won, but also lost at the same time.
And her mom was pissed.
Yeah.
And she just starts skipping practice and stuff, and then her mom basically disowns her.
Yep, you have been excommunicated from the Hozaki school and family. Now get out of here, you little scamp.
And then finding out, and then she wakes up after, and her fever's gone, and she was like, was that delinquent kid really here? And then she sees him sleeping in on like the outside of her door.
Yeah, just sitting there sleeping.
And then she's like, aren't you, she freaks out on him. She's like, don't you have anything to say about like my living conditions? He's like, oh, well, I figured your school wasn't doing well or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after he leaves, and he's like, if you ever want to talk about something, just talk about it.
Because that's the way Kudo does stuff.
And then he leaves, and she's like, did I leave the stove on? And then she opens up, and he made her rice porridge.
Made her egg rice porridge. Because I guess, on top of being the coolest fucking dude ever, the most badass fighter on the universe,
he's good husband material.
He's a great cook. Kudo, you're too good. You're too good, Kudo. I love him.
And then bitchy girl trying to break apart their friend groups finds out about
for shits and giggles.
For shits and giggles, finds out about Hozaki's living conditions, and she's like, "Oh, if I tell the rest of them that she was lying about her living conditions, they'll definitely all turn on her," which is weird.
It's a weird thing because the way they framed it in the coming up next week, she's like, if I reveal this, they'll hate her. I thought it was gonna be some like real big drops. Nah, it's just, yeah, she lives in a crappy apartment. She's not that rich.
I liked in the previous episode when she's trying to like spread shit about Hozaki, and she just is like, because again, I wasn't here last week, when she walks up to Kudo. Yeah, and he just has these eyes of like death glare at her.
It's so good.
And she's like, shit.
He knows she's up to some MacGuffins, and he's like, listen, I don't believe a word from anyone unless it comes out of their mouth.
Which, you know what? That really makes sense, since he's a person that's like everyone always talked shit about and framed for things, or just says,
Of course.
Yeah.
Kudo is not the person you want to spread lies to.
And in this one, where she decides to be like, everyone, there's some truth you should know about Hozaki. And then she's like, hey, I'll actually, I'll
tell him.
Yeah, I'll tell him about my, personal circumstances. Thank you.
Guys, I've been excommunicated. And everyone just kind of looks at her for a second.
And all the delinquent dudes are like, what does that mean?
Yeah, what's that?
She's like, I've been kicked out of the Hozaki school and out of my house. And, like, the bitchy girl's like, yes, now they'll all realize she was a liar and hate her. And they're all like, does that mean we should, like, share more food with you?
Yeah, I love the fat guy, because he's like,
you want bread?
I'm going to bring you more bread. That's the best response ever.
And they're all like, yeah, thanks for telling us. It's like, we don't care, though. That's fine.
Yeah, all right. I mean, that's kind of rough, but, just come hang out with us, play the koto.
And she's like, no, why didn't I ruin your friend group?
No, my evil plans have been foiled. It's pretty out there.
And then she runs away all upset that she couldn't ruin their friendship. The power of friendship had won.
Oh, God. I don't know why, but something about that. And then she runs away because she couldn't ruin their friendship is deeply hilarious.
She's mad. She's like, I've only made their bond stronger.
It's such like a weird thing in the show, but it still kind of fits really well that it's just, it's ridiculous, and I love it.
And club president guy runs after her, and he's like, hey, why'd you do that?
Why'd you be all shitty?
And then she gets mad and, like, hits him with, like, her bag and runs away sad again.
And he's like, all right, fuck off then. See ya.
And then the next day, he approaches her again and tries to be like, hey, did you have, like, a reason for doing that? If you have, like, a reason, I'll listen to it. And then she's like, no, I just hate friendship and stuff. You're dumb. Your club is dumb. Your friends are dumb. And she runs away all mad.
And he's like, fucking, all right.
And he shows up at the club all pissed off, and they're like, he's just like, and they're all like, man, club president's kind of scary when he's mad. And Kudo's like, hey, could you help me with these? Like, what? And Kudo's like, never mind, I'm sorry.
No, sorry to bother you.
He's like, whoa, he just made Chica apologize.
Holy shit, he's mad. And then there's...
Hozaki actually goes and talks to her and is like, hey, I think you're kind of the same as me.
Yeah. And kinda, I guess.
Yeah. And then,
in a loose sense.
In a loose sense. And then she's like, by the way, club meetings, we're going to have club meeting today. It'd be bad if you skip.
Yeah, that'd be kind of crappy, so don't start skipping club meetings.
And then she ends up going to the club room. She's standing outside like, can I really go in? And then Kudo's like, you're blocking the door.
Hey, stop blocking the door.
And she's like, is it okay for me to enter? And he's like, that's not up to me to decide.
A fair reaction.
And they all see her, and they're all happy to see her, and then she's sad, and she's like, I was a bitch. I'm sorry.
Turns out, instead of destroying the power of friendship, I should have been getting in on the power of friendship.
She succumbs to the power of friendship at the end.
We also learn her backstory. Basically, her whole internal logic behind this is, man, my friend did something like that to me to steal my boyfriend. So since then, I've been doing the same thing to people, just for grins and giggles.
Yeah, because my friends were shitty, so that means all friends must be shitty.
Yeah, so I need to be a terrible person.
And something tells me, since Kudo is obviously getting shipped with Hozaki, this girl's going to get shipped with club president guy.
Probably.
They're both the senpais.
Yeah.
They're the third years.
Exactly. This show is great. Watch it.
And you know what's...
Meh.
Midnight Occult Civil Servants.
Eh.
It's not bad. I just don't like watching it.
I like, this is the one on the list that I'm like, all right, time to buckle down for.
It's like I gotta force myself to watch this one where I'm like, hey, what do I have left to watch this week? All right, Midnight Occult Civil Servants. Let's just get through it. Let's just power through it, and then I can watch something like Bocchi after.
Yeah, this is one I usually like watch towards the beginning so that I
Get
can
it out
just,
of the way.
Yeah, so I can watch all the other stuff.
And I never feel that's a good sign for a show where I have to watch it to get it out of the way.
And I've been thinking about it. We don't even really need the padding because we've still got 7 shows.
Yeah, we don't need the padding. And I don't think anyone watches this. Well, I don't think anyone watches this podcast, but if they watch this podcast, they're not watching it to hear us talk about Midnight Occult Civil Servants.
No. I had one friend who was like, yeah, I was thinking about watching, and it was the Japanese name. And I was like, you're better off just watching something else.
You know about Robbie Hachi? That's a good one.
Hey, have you heard about the show Robbie Hachi?
But yeah, to give a rundown of the episode, hostess club guy ends up we learn more about his girlfriend or his sister. His sister was kidnapped by a devil that Coyote knows.
There's a devil who wants to rebuild his girlfriend or something.
And he takes parts from other girls.
Yeah, but metaphysical parts. He doesn't take literal parts.
Yeah.
If he takes your leg, that just means your leg won't move anymore.
You can give the summary. I think it's quite clear we're gonna kill this one.
Yeah.
I don't care.
We meet him in just like a sequence that's kind of bullshit, and then Coyote sees Arata hanging with his childhood friend, who's a
keep
girl.
going. I'm just checking my Twitter right now.
I don't blame you. He sees him playing with a childhood friend, and he's, I don't know, jealous, I guess. So he basically sells her out to Demon Dude. So, like, they go,
Yeah, because he's a shit.
Yeah, her and Arata go to the festival, because there's always a fucking festival, because it's Japan. Japan is only festivals and fireworks and all that shit. So they're hanging out, and then they do some dumb bullshit that I didn't really care about because it didn't matter. And then she gets kidnapped by the Black Sand Demon. Oh no, the Black Sand. And then he goes to Hostess Club guy, and he's like, there was all this black sand.
Yeah, and then they do a thing.
And then Hostess guy is like, it's the same one who stole my sister. And then they spend a lot of time trying to track down Coyote, and it doesn't work. And I felt kind of bad for Hostess Club dude, or Host Club dude, because he is male. I felt kind of bad for him, because Arata's like, man, I thought we'd find Coyote by now. It's been like 2 days. And he comes back with, it's been 17 years since my sister got taken.
I can wait a little longer.
I can wait a bit. And they do a lot of off-the-book shit, and they talk to Coyote, and
he shows up and he's like, hey, because Arata's friend gets taken, his childhood friend, and then Coyote shows up and he's like Kohaku, where are you? And he's like, I know you have something to do with this. And he's like, it's not me, it's the demon you should be mad at. And he's like, all right, well, where do I find them? Hell.
Yeah, just go to hell. Okay.
And that was that.
We're not going to see the conclusion of that.
Yeah, we're not going to know how that ends. I'm going to assume it's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
It's not the type of show where it seems like it doesn't end okay.
I would be genuinely surprised if it was like, no, she's dead.
Yeah.
They don't even take anything
The price
major.
of smiles has made me not bank on possibility anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I am going to
goodbye.
I'm going to cut the show. We're going to turn in our badges, and we're not going to be a part of the Midnight Occult Civil Servants Club anymore.
We're going to give up our sweet, sweet government benefits.
Yeah, we're going to give up our government benefits on this one.
And we're going to find fucking jobs that don't have us up literally all night.
Yeah, we're gonna quit our government jobs, and we're going to go travel. We're
going to travel to East Kendar.
East
Kendar. Yeah. They do that literally every episode, and I hate it every time. It's the one thing in the show that's like, this irritates the shit out of me.
So there's a planet with a great eel festival. and they are pumped to go get some eel because apparently overfishing has made it so there's not a lot on Earth. So Hachi has never really had real eel.
Yeah, he's had eel oil and synthetic eel flakes.
I don't really think I've had much eel either.
I haven't had any eel, and I think I'm okay with that.
I kind of wanted to try that grilled eel because that looked kind of good.
I'll admit it does look pretty good.
Because like the only time I think I've had it was on like sushi, so it's like cold eel.
But they're like, this will be hype as fuck.
And they land there, and all they find are a bunch of buff dudes.
Large,
big
bronzed,
buff dudes.
Muscular men.
Big Bara figures.
Yeah. And they're like...
Eel.
Yeah, they're just chanting.
And turns out the Great Eel Festival doesn't mean the festival is great. It means the eels are great. They are massive.
They eat cows whole by like the dozen.
And they catch the eels and decide, yeah, let's chill out at this festival. And this little girl approaches them and is like, hey, do you guys need a guide? If you pay me, I'll be your guide.
And they're like, dude, you're just scamming us, kid. And she's like,
but ever since my dad got eaten by an eel, we've had some money trouble.
And it's been like, oh well. And then she's just their guide, and it's fine. Like, she is a genuine guide. I was a little surprised.
And at first I was a little bored with this episode, but then Yang showed up.
And then fucking Yang shows up.
Because the planet of all the planets, like how we've been to so far, everything is like a planet of with a hat. Yeah. It's one of those things. This planet is very one note.
It is eel. Everyone walks around in Speedos.
Just buff guys and eel. Which I think the joke is with that is eel is considered, I think over there, a food that really increases male vitality.
As we see in Yang.
Where he goes up there and he thinks, well, an eel festival. I should probably get my vitality up if I'm going to go after Robbie. And he's eating all the worst parts of it.
Yeah.
Like eel bone, liver.
He just takes a big old chomp out of an eel rib. And he eats the fin. And every time we come back to him, he's so much more amped up.
He's becoming like the Hulk.
He is steroided the fuck out. And that continues until eventually he is a nigh mindless creature. Just Robbie.
And Robbie's getting all bummed because he can't find any chicks.
Yeah, where are all the chicks, dude? I came here for hot chicks.
And the robot their butler really wants them to enter some competition so they can get some money.
Because they have literally none.
And they blow it all on eating eel and getting hotel rooms.
Yep. So they are broke. So they need to do the competitions to get cash. So we come around. We're in the Great Eel Fest. Actually, there's a good scene before the Great Eel Rodeo.
Yeah, where Hachi's trying to sleep at night. And he hears out in the hallway, Robbie, Robbie. And Yan is marching down the hallway. He is roided out on eel.
He has overdone it a lot.
And he is to the point where one of his blood vessels actually bursts.
Yeah, he's walking through and he's so amped up. And his blood vessel on his head bursts, and that sort of brings him back to state zero.
And he's like, he's like, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go find Robbie later.
I'm tired. I gotta rest up if I'm gonna find Robbie tomorrow. And Hachi looks out his door, and he's like, what was that?
Blood.
It was a ghost.
And then the next day at the rodeo, he amps up on eel again. And he sees Robbie there, and he chases him, and they're on this big race where they're both riding eels, and he's like, give me the money. He's like, ass, butt.
Yeah, because it turns out the words for, like, interest and I forget what the other one was. But those, if you say them incorrectly, like, too close to each other, sounds like you're saying ass. And Robbie's like, this dude wants my butt. This dude wants my literal butt.
And he's so roided out that he actually dashes ahead and wins the race.
I kind of expected Yang wants to fuck Robbie was gonna be a bit in the show,
Yeah.
at least once, if not a recurring one.
But then since he won, he gets dragged before the king, and the king's all just like, eel, and he's like, no, Yang, eel.
No, Yang.
And while they're in a big fight, Robbie's like, hey, I got a bunch of prize money for second place, so let's get out of here.
Yeah, I got us some prize money so we can leave now.
And then as they're leaving, they pay the girl that was helping them. And she's like, oh, man, my dad's going to be really happy about this. And they're like, I thought you said he was swallowed by an eel. Yeah, he was. But then he cut his way out of it.
Yeah, he burst out of the eel's stomach. And then Robbie is like, hey, where are all the hot chicks? And she's like, oh, we only have males. I'm a boy, too.
And then immediately it just cuts to them flying out into space. Like Robbie was like, nope, done.
As soon as he figured out there was no hot chicks. Then we get a nice little scene where Yang and his crew are just kind of bouncing a volleyball at each other, and they're just talking.
Yeah, and it's just like, I've been putting some thought into about what I'm gonna do after I catch Robbie. And they're like, yeah, you're gonna like sell his kidneys or put him on a like tuna boat, right? He's like, I just don't know anymore.
I don't know. Is good, man.
It's good shit.
Robbie Hachi's good as fuck.
A lot of good shit.
Watch Robbie Hachi.
Please watch Robbie Hachi.
Please.
Also, watch Kono Oto Tamare, because
Yes.
that is becoming the sleeper hit.
Watch both of these shows. They are both very good.
They are the strongest shows on this list.
Agree strongly.
All of these shows are strong. We made it stronger by cutting one.
90% of the shows we reviewed today are strong.
Yes.
But if you would like to continue getting updates on when we talk about these shows, feel free to like the video and subscribe to our channel.
Ring that bell.
Ring that bell. Make sure you ring the bell.
Or follow us on Twitter at Protagonist Seat.
We post tweets. Well,
Sometimes.
Alex does.
I
Alex
post
posts
tweets sometimes.
Sometimes.
Hasn't been a lot to tweet about this season.
Yeah, there's not.
Not like meme-worthy moments.
Then we need, yeah. Even though the shows are strong, the memes are weak.
Weak meme season.
Weak meme, but strong show.
Yeah.
Anyway, goodbye.
See you later.
Get out of here.